Welcome, everyone, to Sports Shorts Daily. Ronnie Rance alongside Tommy Krysan. TK joining us over at Tremonti's Meat and Seafood in Baton Rouge. I'm an undisclosed location presented by the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame. And, of course, LeBear's Casino is our presenting sponsor each and every week, where you can go watch all the games, anything going on in the world of sports. You want to go to the sports book at LeBear's in Baton Rouge. Great place, great food, breakfast, lunch, dinner, all the things. Go over there and check it out. And of course, we do for all the big events, everything from UFC to football. And oh, by the way, pro football, college football, right around the corner, Tommy. It's unbelievable. You know, you and I are in TCL, Texas Collegiate Baseball, Rougarou mode, and that ends on August the 2nd. But then, literally less than a month later, is going to be football mode 24/7, as you're going to have a football game on television at some level of college or pro for the next, 6 months, basically.
Yeah, and of course, we'll be out there tomorrow morning for Sports Shorts Radio. So we can tell folks about that and make sure everybody listens. Baton Rouge, Lafayette, Lake Charles. We'll stop by the casino and look, check us out. Got a little stage in the ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Come check us out.
So, TK, a couple of things. Obviously, Saints training camp opened officially. Seen a lot of cool video from camp, including that of first-time head coach's family being there to watch him after the first practice, to get the embrace, to congratulations, the human side of things. We also know that the New Orleans Saints have a beautiful new locker room. Not that their locker room was bad, but of course you got to upgrade. You got to keep up with the Joneses. You can't have the second best locker room in the state of Louisiana, because we know LSU's got an amazing one. And oh, by the way, all those colleges that have those amazing locker rooms, they're going to start to slow down a little bit, because do you want to have a really nice locker room, or you want to get paid? You can have one or the other. You can't necessarily have both. So you're going to see a lot of locker rooms and facilities freeze while they figure out ways to pay the players. That's one of the things that comes with it. But the Saints have that typical, runway entrance like a lot of colleges have, like LSU has, when you walk in, and you might see LED screens, or might kind of walk through like a video tunnel, or see mannequins of uniforms and things like that before you enter the space. And so that's what's going on over there with the Saints land. Not much to report out of the Saints camp. Your typical what going on over there?
Yeah, your typical training camp stories: a wide receiver threw a punch, tempers flared, and quarterbacks are sharing reps with Rattler and Hayner and Shuck. I mean, they're sharing the reps, and a little juice because Kellen Moore. Basically, I think there's only two holdovers of the 22 coaches on the staff. So a lot of juice with some new coaches and players. Got to get to know them. They got to get to know the players. So that's what's going on in Saints land, and they're busy. Before they know it, they'll have exhibition games, and before they know it, the regular season will be here.
Oftentimes the preseason games are kind of meaningless and not that interesting to watch. That will not be the case this year for the Saints, from a sure reason that who's going to be the quarterback, so, and it's not like a veteran team where Drew Brees is going to play half a series or two snaps or whatever. It doesn't matter. Look, every training camp is going to be an opportunity to see what's going on at the QB position, if that's all you even just care about. That's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. A little more interest with some unknown and some other players, the offensive line, the defense. I mean, there's a lot of questions for the Saints, and they got their first two games at home. I was telling somebody the other day, they open up with Arizona in the Dome, and I think they're going to win that game, because there's going to be some juice with Kellen Moore, and the crowd's going to be nuts, and maybe they can win that one, I think. I don't think they can win five during the course of the whole season unless one of the quarterbacks really emerges, really has a good year, like way more than anybody's expected. But hey, it's the black and gold. A lot of Saints fans, obviously, in the South, and in particular in Louisiana. So it's going to be fun to watch it all unfold. And I hope they have success. I just don't know that it's going to happen.
The look. What is the over under the last you saw, Tommy?
Four
On
and a
the
half.
4.5. I mean, like, that is one of the lowest four over unders. I mean, you could possibly even have. And so, as much as I'd like to say, man, come on, they could figure out a way to win 5 or 6 games, and I do to a certain extent believe that in the NFL, you come on, you can stumble into 5 or 6 games and not and be pretty wretched, but ratchet. But I mean, I want to see what it looks like. I mean, I want to see these quarterbacks, and I want to see how bad the offensive line is or whatever. Um, so the preseason game is going to determine to me, Tom. And I know it's hard to judge preseason because you got to know, are you going ones versus ones? Are you going ones versus twos? Like you got to know the other team to know what personnel are out there. But I'm going to watch it intently from that reason. One, want to see who looks like the best quarterback, in my opinion, to lead this team. And two, want to get a gauge, get a pulse, kind of get a feel to see 4.5 over under. That's always a fun bet to make, no matter what you put on it financially. By the way, there was a bill that passed that's not gotten the gamblers very happy. I don't know if you saw this, Tommy, but it got put into a bill. This I don't know if it was accidental, if it was intentional, if it's something that they're going to fix as quickly as they can. But basically, it's a taxing situation where it used to be at the end of the year, if you went to a casino and you used your player card, for example, if you go to LeBear's and you use your pen play card, and you swipe that card and you gamble and you lose $100,000, but you win $100,000, then your tax burden was zero. You didn't win anything. You lost 100, you won 100. So your tax burden was zero. But now you're only going to be able to deduct up to 90% of your loss. So you go to the casino and you win $100,000 and you lose $100,000. As far as the government's concerned, you're going to pay taxes on $10,000. That is a bad, bad deal. That is unfair. It's not right. I don't know. Trump's writing, it seems, executive orders all the time. I mean, he needs to get right one for this and fix this wrong or something. But the bottom line is that in my opinion, that that is going to, if that stays the case, if that stays the letter of the law, and a lot of people aren't going to realize it. They don't realize it right now. But when they get that tax bill next year, when it goes into effect, when they get that tax bill, they're going to be shocked. Well, what do you mean I got to pay taxes on my law, like this amount of money? I didn't win any money. Doesn't matter. You are. And that will really drive money offshore. That will drive money to the illegal bookies. You're going to see money go this way instead of mainstream if that stays the course, the letter of the law.
Well, I was not aware of that, but that's quite interesting. And I'm like you, I don't think it's fair in the big picture. Now, I like to bet. I'm a small gambling guy, $10, $20. If I feel really good, I'll go with 100. But more or less, I just make those small bets. But so I don't know how much it would affect me in the big picture. But no, it's a big thing. And then the unintended consequences are important. Like you said, does the bookie world resurface more than it already is, like it used to be? So it's interesting, and I know LeBear's is paying attention to that. And I have a pen play card. I use it now and then, not often, but we'll have to see. It's interesting.
Yeah, I mean it's a bad deal. I mean, imagine if you're Hunter McCann and you're out there gambling a lot and you're got your hockey bets and everything else going on, and you're only going to be able to deduct 90% of your loss. That doesn't make any sense. It just seems like in the United States of America, how can you pay taxes on money you didn't make?
Well, it's kind of like senior citizens with the property taxes. You already own the property. Why should you? There's a lot of things that are in this whole story of money and taxes and what's fair and what's not fair. And I read about a lot of it, not all of it, but we'll see. I'm not in that
Tommy,
big tax.
you do me a
I'm not
favor,
in that.
Tommy.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, keep track of all those senior citizen tax issues for me. Write them down so that in 12 years when I get there, yeah, I'll
Yeah.
know what to look out for.
I'll say, here's the book I wrote for you,
Yeah,
Ronnie. Yeah,
yeah.
I'll do that. I could absolutely do that for you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Um, all right, TK, talking about the Baton Rouge Rougarou last night, one of
Oh
the
man.
ugliest wins, but a win's a win's a win. Knock off the Lake Charles Gumbo Gators 8-5. The clinched the second half of the Louisiana division. So claim the first half winner, second half winner, number one overall seed. That's never been done in Baton Rouge Rougarou history. 35-9 is the record now. That's in 44 games. Had one rainout, so that's 45 games in. With three to play. Played tonight on the road in Lake Charles, and then at home at the Gold Mine, Pete Goldsby Field, Saturday and Sunday night against the Victoria Generals, who has the second best record in the league. And Saturday and Sunday night, you're not going to see both teams kind of throw their aces and everything. You're going to see a lot of the other guys kind of getting ready. On Saturday night, you'll see Skip Berkman's grandson, Ezra Pate. He will be the starting pitcher for the Rougarou on Saturday night when we have Skip Berkman night, which is going to be an honor to have Coach at the ballpark. We're going to honor him with a special ceremony. Any former Tigers that are there will be let in free and invited onto the field prior to the game to honor Coach. We got a special surprise for him. He'll be signing books. Everything Matters in Baseball, the book that he and Glenn Gilbo wrote, will be between 6 and 7. You can buy a book, get an autograph, take a picture with them, all of that. That's this Saturday night. And then Sunday's our final regular season game. For those that are in attendance, we have a surprise for you at the ballpark. But that's what we have this weekend. But then Tuesday is the playoff, Tommy. A lot of folks buying tickets, getting ready for that Tuesday playoff game. That's the 29th. We have a 2 out of 3 series against the Acadiana King Cutters. We host game 1 and game 3 if necessary. But the big thing is by winning last night, the Rougarou qualify to host the championship game Saturday, August 2nd. If we get past the King Cutters in that 2 out of 3 series, we're guaranteed to be hosting the championship game at Pete Goldsby Field. And that is a huge advantage for any team.
Yeah, and of course, connect on social media. You'll be able to keep up with everything. Just find Baton Rouge Rougarou on Facebook, X, and Instagram. And no, this is a really good team. Obviously, I've been with you since day one when you bought the team, and I've watched just. I think I missed one home game in 4 years. It's something going on with the grandkids, but no, there's some really good baseball players that are getting it done. Different guys stepping up. The big thing is the pitching. They don't walk people. They don't. They have a great ERA as a pitching staff. And every now and then there's a bad inning, and that happens in baseball. But it's been fun to watch. And look, people need to come out. Skip Berkman night. I have the book, Everything Matters in Baseball, which he signed to me, and it's on my coffee table, and it always will be at home. And I've got plenty of pictures with Skip, so I don't need one of them. But people need to come out, buy that book, get it signed. He signs it personally. He'll put to Tommy or to Ronnie. He's not just going to write Skip Berkman in there and hand it to you. He feels, I took him on his book tour many times. He feels he owes that to the people if they buy his book. He'll personalize it for them, and he'll do that at the Rougarou game. And then to have his grandson pitching, it's going to be a real special night tomorrow night. And of course, Tuesday the 29th, playoffs. I mean, everybody's got to be there for Tuesday the 29th with the playoffs.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Blaze Priesters had a great year. The former
Oh yeah.
LSU Tiger, now going to be a Southeastern Lion. The former Live Oak High Star had another big double. Clear had 3 RBI and a tie ball game last night.
That
He's
gives
been
him
on.
40. That gives him 49 RBIs on the season in 45 games.
That's
Let that
incredible.
sink in a minute. 49 RBIs and I'll be honest, the first 10 games, 12 games, he didn't get off to a
Yeah,
great
slow
start.
start. Yeah, slow
He
start.
struggled a little bit. So he's been on fire for 6.5 weeks or so. And that big triple last night, he ripped it over the center field of his head. Now, there's a lot of room in the outfield, Pete Goldsby Field. We know that. But he ripped that ball. I wish I had the exit speed on that. That getting a track man is on my list of things you need to do for the press box. And I don't know that one will happen. But no, he ripped that ball. Clearly a stand-up double, cleared the bases. I mean, blew the game open. It helped Rougarou that night like he's done for a while. He's been spectacular. Southeastern's getting a heck of a ball player, and I think he's got above average arm behind the plate. I mean,
No, no, he
he can
does.
throw it down. He can get it down a second on a dot. You know.
Yeah, no, he can definitely do that. Obviously Josh Shelley, in my opinion, is the league MVP, but Blaze Priester's pushing him. There's no question. Josh Shelley's averages in 7 weeks of baseball is over 370, which is, hard to do. Hard to do. And
This is what happens when Shelley bats. When he doesn't get a hit is when I go, oh man, what happened there?
right,
He got
right,
fooled
right.
a little bit, he got jammed a little bit, or went off the end of the bat because you just kind of think he's going to get a hit. It's kind of like when Dylan Cruz was at LSU. You just feel like he's going to get a hit, and when he doesn't, you go, wow, how'd that happen? He didn't get a hit. He's played four different positions defensively. He's one of the best baseball players I've seen, and he is tearing up the Texas Collegiate League and has for several years. And it's going to be hard to replace a guy like that.
It is. So go to brrugaroo.com, brrugaroo.com. We'll hope to see you Saturday and Sunday night at the ballpark. And look, we have a tarp and we use it a lot. So, if you see rain in the area and you're like, hey, if it's raining, they're probably not going to be playing. You're wrong. Last night was an example of that. We didn't start the game at 7 o'clock. We started the game at 8:30 due to weather. And we don't do that very often. That's a rare occasion. But that just goes to show you how committed we are to playing. And, just because it might be raining at game time, even doesn't mean we won't play the game. We will get the game in and we'll adjust. Usually, like the kids run the bases, we'll move it up so that, you don't have to be there that super late, things like that, all the little things that the kids love to do. But anyway, we thank Raising Canes for Bark at the Park last night. And we look forward to Saturday night, Skip Bertman night. Get your tickets at brrugaroo.com. Major League Baseball Hall of Fame on Sunday, TK. I know that's a big day for you.
Yeah, it really is, and there's some outstanding players that are go into the Hall of Fame. Ichiro, I read a story about Ichiro, Ronnie, like his 10th major league game. Okay, he had a long career. Like his 10th game, he got a hit that put his average at 300
His
in
10th
his
at
10th
bat.
game.
His 10th
10th
at
at
bat.
bat. He got a hit that put his average at 300. And Ronnie, the rest of his career, it never went below 300. I mean, let that sink in. Then CC Sabathia, the big lefty. You and I have a little something for lefties. That's cool. His numbers speak for themselves. Billy Wagner, first Division III player to ever make it into Cooperstown. Okay, and in the Texas Collegiate League, you got some Division III guys and other divisions, the junior college guys. Billy Wagner in, and then the Classic Baseball Era Committee selected Dave Parker. Unfortunately, he passed away a couple of weeks ago and won't get to enjoy Sunday in Cooperstown. And then Dick Allen, who I always thought was a great player. He was when he got to the plate, you were like, how do we get this guy out? If you look up some old clips of Dick Allen, he was a character, pretty vocal about a lot of things in baseball. But so that's going to be a special Sunday in Cooperstown. They're expecting the largest crowd ever at Cooperstown. I don't know if it's Ichiro bringing them in or the
See,
Dave
I think
Parker
it's,
thing.
it's I think it's Ichiro and it's CC.
Yeah,
CC being a big Yankee close to New York City, that's partly why. And
yeah. So
uh,
that'll all be Sunday.
you got Dave Parker, Pittsburgh guy, legend. Pittsburgh's not far. So you got some regional people that help. Ichiro, of course, is an international draw. And my Billy Wagner. I played against Billy Wagner, so now I'm officially old. A guy I know and played against is in the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame. He played in the Cape Cod in 1992 league when I was there, and he was in the town next to me. He and Todd Walker were teammates. They played for the Brewster Whitecaps, and I played for the Chatham A's, or the Chatham Anglers now that they're called, but we were the Chatham A's and got to know Billy well. And he was just a country boy, 5'9", left-hander, and he went to play at a D3 in Virginia, a Division III school. And from one year to the next, he increased his velocity by 10 miles per hour. It was a legendary story. He and I talked to him about it one day. I was said, Billy, what did you do? I'm expecting him to give me this training regimen or some sort of, well, I changed my mechanics, like I had the notepad out. I was ready to get stuff. I was ready to learn from Billy Wagner. I'm 6'5", he's 5'9". We're both left-handed pitchers. I'm throwing 86 to 89. He's throwing 93 to 96. I'm like, give me the stuff. What did you do? And he went, I don't know, Ronnie. The Lord just touched my shoulder. The Lord touched my shoulder. I was like, wait, what? The Lord? Yeah, yeah. I mean, okay, Billy. But what he did was he used his bottom half and and nowadays they teach it better, right, than what they did 30 years ago. And nowadays they know the techniques and the body mechanics that it takes to throw harder, and they teach that better en masse across this country. They have the information. The internet's a beautiful thing. Social media is a beautiful thing. Everything gets taught and shared. And they know now the little tricks of the trade and the things you need to do with your body in order to maximize speed. And I think Billy just really unintentionally, quite frankly, had that and knew how to do it. Had the mechanics in the body and the technique and the form that I don't think he necessarily knew at 19, 20 years old what he was doing, but he was doing it the correct way.
All right, Ronnie, I got a question for you, and I'll answer the same question. So back in the day, what did you top out at with the fastball?
Fastest I ever knew about with a
Yeah,
radar gun was 92 miles an hour.
okay. And I sat 86, 87. If the wind was behind me, maybe I got it to 88. But so I was a little bit behind you. But from what I understand, my breaking ball when it worked might have been better than yours.
Possibly, people say, "What was your best pitch?" And I would say a strike. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, if I,
it did. I wasn't one that necessarily was worried about getting hit. I was always my own worst enemy. Um,
well,
the
I did lead the team in strikeouts my senior year on the pitching staff,
There
and
you go.
that's in the Southeastern record book. You can go look it up. But change up and curveballs what got me to hang around for a few years.
TK, I think that needs to be on your Instagram profile or whatever. You need to have, that listed 1981,
Two,
strikeout
82,
king, 82
82.
Southeastern Louisiana strikeout king. Needs to be in there. No, but I'm excited to watch. Look, Cooperstown obviously is a lot like Natchitoches. It's this little town in the middle of nowhere. Cooperstown's smaller than Natchitoches actually, as far as the population goes. Um, but they have built the whole town to replicate old timey baseball turn of the century. It's really cool. Their main street, whether it's the ice cream shop or the pizza place or whatever, it all has the old timey facade and street line. Really, really cool spot. And of course, if you ever get the chance, it's out of the way. It's not right near New York City. It's a few hours away. It's worth it if you got a chance to explore, to take the drive, see a beautiful countryside, upstate New York, and go check out Cooperstown. It's an amazing museum, and there's so much history, Tommy. We think back to 150 years really of baseball, and so there's a ton of history. They can't show it all. They can't show every artifact they have, every baseball bat, every glove. So they have to rotate certain things. They archive certain things. They'll display certain things at a given time. But it's really an amazing. If you're an historian of baseball, I mean, it's worth a couple days in upstate New York.
Well, I'll tell you what, David DeLucci, who we both know well, and I worked many camps with him, played 13 years in the majors. He won a World Series with the Arizona Diamondbacks. He told me one of his biggest memories was when he got to go to Cooperstown and being a player. Now, he's not in Cooperstown, but being a player, he got to do some things that, not everybody gets to do.
Right.
Like I remember him telling me he got to hold Babe Ruth's bat. He had to put gloves on. He held the bat, one of the bats that Babe Ruth swung. He said he could barely pick it up. It was so heavy. So when a 13-year major leaguer tells you, man, that was an awesome thing to do, that resonated with me. I'll never forget David telling me that. And my grandkids have been there. My daughter's been there because she loves baseball. I've yet to go to Cooperstown. I probably got to make that happen.
Yeah, tune in to Sports Church Radio tomorrow morning from 10 to noon on ESPN Radio in Lafayette, Lake Charles, and Baton Rouge. And we'll talk more about it. I'll tell you the story tomorrow on the radio about
Yeah,
my one trip to Cooperstown and got a VIP experience thanks to Jack Marucci, one of the founders of the Marucci baseball bat, and or named after him, obviously. But that was, I'll tell you about that experience tomorrow on Sports Church Radio, 10 to noon, ESPN Baton Rouge, Lafayette and Lake
Lake Charles.
Charles. TK, tell us about Tremonti's as we get out of here.
Yeah, no question about Tremonti's. Load up for the weekend with the steaks and the wine and the bourbon. And they got a special today at 3 o'clock. Boiled crabs and shrimp special. You get some crabs, you get some shrimp. Call to reserve. The number's on your screen, or look up Tremonti's. Call and reserve some boiled crab shrimp. They just cut a bunch of steaks and put them in the meat case out there. Get you ready for the weekend. The Chairman's Reserve Prime, the Wagyu steaks that they got here that you can't beat. It's all at Tremonti's, Jefferson Highway in Baton Rouge. Connect with Tremonti's on Facebook and Instagram. You know the drill for that. As we always say, like and share this show. No matter whether you're watching on YouTube or Facebook or X, like and share this show. We appreciate it very, very much. Rougarou, home tomorrow night. Skip Burtman and I want to see you out there. All right, on behalf of Ronnie Rance and the entire crew here at Tremonti's, and congratulations to the Rougarou. You see, let me do that right there up on the screen. Rougarou. First half and second half division champs, Louisiana division champs, and home field advantage in the playoffs. Playoffs Tuesday night. You need to be at Pete Goldsby Field. Have a great Friday, everyone.